Can't Explain MMA podcast. Now we're rolling. I'm Jason. He's Zach. Back again.
Changed it up on me.
I did change it up a little bit.
I don't like it.
Because I'll change it back on the next one. It's my brain's all scattered from our last podcast because we've been going for the last hour, and now we're back. That was a cool podcast we just did.
That was cool.
Sean's a cool dude, man.
Sean's a cool dude. It's cool to have, anytime you can get a UFC vet and then the PFL winner and, everything that he's done and been around in the sport. I mean, those guys, conversations with those guys, I think are invaluable to me because I think it's just such a rare breed that's dying out,
Yeah, he kind of takes it back to that throwback fighter, which a lot of these guys on this card are a lot of these throwback guys that have fought back in the day when he was coming up, and it's kind of good to see his perspective and get some of his input on the state of mixed martial arts currently.
Maybe he can put me in touch with Mick Maynard and help me get a job with the UFC as a matchmaker.
If there's somebody that has the connections, I think he's the guy.
I should be a matchmaker for the UFC. Who are we kidding here?
When are we gonna go? When are we gonna go down there and train with those guys after your fight?
Anytime.
That could be fun. I didn't realize they were so close to me.
Yeah, they're really close.
They're actually not far from Unified.
No, they're not.
They're super close to Unified. We had a fight night this weekend.
Yeah.
A damn good one too. I think a few of these fights kind of surprised me a little bit. I was wrong on a couple of them. Mainly the main event. What'd you think of that main event? Was that not just how many times did you think that fight was over?
Twice for each of them.
It was so crazy. So crazy. Teixeira has a chin. He is relentless.
I don't know if he has a chin as much as he just has this. You have to put the lights out with him.
You do, because as soon as he gets knocked down,
his instincts take over.
Yeah, and when he gets on top of somebody, they just can't get up.
His jiu-jitsu at 205 is just too much for him.
Yeah, it's
elite. It's elite, and he's done that to how many guys now?
Well,
once he gets on top of them, it's over. It's over.
And we talked about this on the last podcast, but I mean, you got to give him the shot, don't you? We talked about it with Sean. Sean brought up a good point. Depending on what the UFC is looking for, which it's probably going to be Izzy, but you got to think that Teixeira's done everything he needs to do to get that title shot.
I'm sorry, I understand what Sean is saying, and I understand from the person's standpoint, but I'm sorry. Glover Teixeira is 41 years old. You let him fight Jan Blachowicz next.
I mean, how many guys?
I don't care. Izzy's done this to himself though, painting this picture with John Jones and John Jones vacating and all that stuff. They've done it to themselves. Let him do a super fight, a catch weight that's not for a belt. Let him make up a belt. You made up a BMF title, make up a belt. I don't care. But don't take this away from Glover. The dude's put in his dues and he deserves this.
How many guys outside of Leon Edwards have that kind of win streak and don't get a shot at the title?
Neil Magny, Leon Edwards.
Leon Edwards. I mean,
but I'll be really disappointed if they continue forward and make Glover wait, because if Izzy beats Jan, and I do strongly believe that Izzy beats Jan.
Me too. Yeah.
If that happens, then the next fight's going to be John Jones, and Glover just has to sit on ice. And quite frankly, I saw Rakic called out Glover. He said, if you want to wait, no. Glover Teixeira, you are 41 years old. You've paid your dues. You've done everything what you're supposed to. You sit and you wait for your title opportunity now.
I hope
but he doesn't. I don't want him waiting for a year and a half while Izzy fights for it and then fights John, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I definitely don't either. I just saw something on because this is getting away from this card, but getting into next week's card where the Russian guy is out versus RDA. And they were talking about Figueiredo moving up to possibly fight RDA.
What?
Figueiredo moving up to fight RDA to fill in last second.
125 to 155?
I just saw it on Twitter that says it's not done. It's not a for sure thing, but they said
there's no way.
I wouldn't think so, but I saw it on there. I saw some people trying to get Michael Chandler in there, but Chandler said, nope, for whatever reason, they're going in a different direction, which I thought would have been the fight to make.
Per UFC officials, Paul Felder is stepping in on 5 days' notice to fight RDA.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah. That's a good fight.
There you go.
That's a good fight.
Paul Felder knocks out RDA in the third round.
You think so?
Yep.
I think he beats him too, honestly. I like it. Anyways, back to the card. Yeah, I think Teixeira, he's earned a shot, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta.
I am morally opposed. I am morally opposed to it. You can't do it. I do not want to see Izzy and Jan right now. I don't want to see it.
What about
or you know what? Let Izzy go fight John Jones at heavyweight.
Yeah. Or let him fight John Jones. Well, I mean, they're not going to do it, but let him fight for and not have it be for a title. I mean, they won't do it, but you can't take that away from Teixeira. Yeah. Great guy too. I'm becoming a huge fan of his the more and more I watch him fight. Great guy too.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think? Andre Arlovski? That was a boring fight.
Bad judge's decision. Did not agree with that judge's decision.
I don't think anybody did. Well, unless you bet for Arlovski.
No, it doesn't matter who you bet for. I don't agree with the decision.
I mean, I could see what the judges were saying on it. I mean, he landed the more significant, but Bowser was more active. He was moving forward.
They scored it a little similar to the Bobby Green fight.
They did 100%. 100%.
They didn't account for the leg kicks and the forward pressure.
Yep. Does Bowser need to move down to 205? I think he does. I didn't realize how small he was at heavyweight.
He's shown the power to be able to knock out the big. I think that catches up to him at some point, but he's shown.
But he had it. I mean, you get Andre 5 years ago hitting him with those punches, he's out.
Andre hasn't knocked anybody out since like 2013.
That's what I'm saying. You give him 5, 6, 7 years ago, and Andre's a little more active. Because if he would have been a little more active with throwing those punches, he would have knocked him out. Because Bowser couldn't take those shots. I mean, every time the 4 times that Arlovski hit him, he hurt him. 4 times in 15 freaking minutes. But I think he needs to drop.
So who do you think he fights next then?
Arlovski?
Either of them. I don't care about Arlovski. He's not making a run back at the title. I know he thinks.
No, he's really not. I mean, he's already fought Rothwell, right? Maybe he fights. Man, he's pretty much fought everybody.
What about Greg Hardy?
Ooh, I like that. Greg Hardy would be a good one.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
That's an interesting one. I think Hardy beats him.
But it's interesting, right?
It is very interesting. I like that. You are the matchmaker. You are going to be a matchmaker.
And then how about the guy that Hardy just beat for Tanner Boser? Mo Green.
I like that too. Even though I think Bowser should just drop the 25 pounds, 20 pounds, and fight at light heavyweight.
Yeah, he looks like he's not far from it. That's for sure.
And man, that size difference, man, it was
big.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
big.
by the way, have you ever seen, going back to the main event, have you ever seen somebody get mounted and beat up for a whole round or basically 2 rounds like that and then still have carry the power to drop somebody in the 3rd round?
No, I have not.
Santos is a freak.
That was
Probably
impressive.
we could work on your jiu-jitsu a little bit, but you're a freak, dude. Like, dude.
I mean, he is coming off that double knee surgery, which is impressive.
I
But
get that. Well, dude, I didn't feel like he had a bad performance. I just thought that was Glover
yeah,
just being the savvy veteran and getting the job done. But
like having somebody mounted on top of you for 5 minutes. I mean, I just went and trained on Saturday, and I basically had somebody on top of me for 2 minutes, and I about died and had to rest for the rest of the day.
that's hilarious. I love it.
Usually asked my wife how freaking sore I was. I'm like, oh man. But
You mean you're acting your age?
I was ready to go back the next day, Zach. I'm getting hooked on this training.
You should. It's the best training in the world.
I am getting hooked. It's fun. I like the challenge of something new, I guess, is something I know nothing about, something that I'm like at the beginner level and I have to learn. Like it's fun.
Yeah, it's good. Let's see.
And maybe there's a grappling match in my future.
I like that.
Jiu-jitsu match.
Against me.
All right.
Let's do it. That'd be fun. Let's do a charity grappling match.
Little charity damage plan. That would be pretty fun. That would be pretty freaking cool.
That would be fun.
You got to give me a little more time though. And you can't train. You can't train for 6 months, no grappling, and then I get to train for 6 months.
You better hope I get injured in this fight if you think I'm not going to train for 6 months.
Oh man. Yeah, the rest of the card, it's once again.
Well, but like we thought Barcelos would win and he dominated. We knew Chikadze. We both thought he'd knock him out in the first round, and he put him all the way to sleep.
Which sounds like Jeremy Stevens is getting Chikadze next.
He called him out, and Jeremy Stevens said, "Let's dance." What do you call them? Butt cheeks?
Yeah, butt cheeks or something like that. Oh man, that's a bad matchup for Jeremy Stevens, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think he it won't be a first round knockout, but Chikadze's no joke, man.
I think that is there's levels to this, and he's about to find out where he stands.
I almost freaking threw my remote at the TV because the gambling degenerate that I am, I picked Chikadze first round knockout, and he basically didn't throw a punch for 3 minutes, and then he just, yeah. This is what we talked about last week, though. This Jamie Simmons guy, I mean, and I'm not trying to disrespect him or anything like that, but
disrespectful.
I mean,
no, he didn't belong there. He didn't belong there.
This guy didn't belong there.
Didn't belong there, and that's okay. You know what? And again, though.
But I get it. You gotta fill the card, and you gotta.
Wasn't that a late replacement too, though?
Yeah, it was a late replacement. So I mean, I get it, but
what'd you think of the Claudia and Jan? Yeah,
I thought the first round Claudia did what she needed to do, and then I think Jan made the adjustments and started piecing her up for the next 2 rounds.
Yep.
Claudia used her wrestling in the first round, which I think a lot of people thought she would, and then Jan made the right adjustments in between rounds, and she couldn't take her down after that.
Right.
Jan's dangerous.
Jan's dangerous.
Her stand-up is impressive.
Trevin Giles versus Bevin Lewis.
Well, I underestimated Trevin Giles in that one because I thought Bevin Lewis was going to win that fight.
We both did, and Trevin, dude, he's got some nice hands.
He really does. Does Bevin Lewis kind of remind you like an OSP? Like he's just a big freak of nature. Like he's a big, he's a specimen. He's an athlete. He's 6'3", 80-inch reach. He's a big guy, and he just didn't seem like he could put it together.
But not a killer.
Not a killer. Nope.
Trevin Giles is a killer.
I slept on Trevin Giles. There was a couple fighters that I slept on this card, and Trevin Giles was one of them.
Alexander Romanoff. Have you ever seen somebody put somebody to sleep like that with a forearm?
No, and he almost got put to sleep. Like,
Yeah,
Lima was cracking him.
he's cracking him. But Romanoff, like, man, dude, I don't think I've ever seen anybody go to sleep from a forearm choke like that.
That guy must have some serious pressure
I love his post-fight celebration.
when he slams
He does his belly to belly with the coach. It's awesome.
His last 3 wins: forearm choke, arm triangle choke, slam, punches, choke, forearm choke, punches, forearm choke. He's done that forearm choke 1, 2, 3 times.
I got to figure that out. It's pretty cool.
Dude, I didn't even realize he's 13-0 with all 13 of his wins coming by.
No, we said that on the pre-show.
Did I? I don't know how I missed it.
We said that. I know I said it. I think you did too. But yeah, he was 12-0 with 12 finishes at heavyweight.
Impressive.
13, right?
Yep. This is only his second UFC fight. Give him to Greg Hardy.
Ooh, that's a good fight.
King Kong Romanoff. I like that.
I do. I like Hardy. That a lot. Darren Elkins.
Damage. That was another one. I underestimated him.
You did.
You didn't. I did.
I never underestimate Darren Elkins. I'll always take a guy that he's kind of like a smaller version of Nate Diaz.
He really is.
That's what he is. He's tough. He's durable. He's never out of the fight. It doesn't matter how much he's bleeding. You sneeze on him, his scar tissue is going to start bleeding instantly. Like, and his eye gets all puffed up. But man, he gets the job done every time.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, he did. He did it. What did he? Rear naked choke. Yeah, his rear naked choke. Right, third round.
Yeah,
he was in some trouble in the second round too.
Yeah, he always gets into trouble, and he almost always works his way out of it.
It's impressive.
Your boy Max Griffin with
Griffin
third round knockout.
You know what? That was another one. I'm not going to say I underestimated him. I just thought Ramiz was going to offer a little more for a guy that I watched, a handful of his fights, and he was relentless with the takedown. And I think Max did everything he needed to do to negate that. Like he stayed busy. He was moving. He was active. He didn't give him a chance to get that takedown. And for those of you that watched the fight, you know what happened to Ramiz's ear.
That was nasty.
If you're not squeamish, go look at it. There's pictures all over the interwebs.
I'm not really squeamish, and I've seen it plenty.
That was, yeah. And the crazy thing is, he didn't even know. They're like, he's like, what? Like, why? What are we stopping the fight for?
His cauliflower ear opened up, right?
It split though. His ear was hanging off. It wasn't just. I know. Yeah,
it where it opened was his cauliflower, like that chunk fell out of his cauliflower.
It was.
It's gross.
Yeah, but hey, props to Max Griffin. He did what he needed to do. He was impressive on his feet. He didn't give Ramiz a chance to. I mean, he didn't even get any takedowns attempts at all.
No, nope.
The first fight of the night, Lopez and Burshak. These guys are actually friends, training partners. At one time,
yeah.
Lopez with the impressive rear naked choke. It was a fun card.
It was fun. Our boy Glover, he made a lasting impression. So,
like I said, I'm a huge fan, man. I'd like to see him get the belt, and then just ride off in the sunset.
Next weekend, your boy Eric Anders is back. We have obviously the RDA versus Paul Felder fight. I think that's really fun.
I've already got some bets locked in, by the way.
Our girl Kay Hansen is back.
Kay Hansen. I tried to get her on the podcast, but she never answered me. Nobody answers me.
Ashley Yoder.
Ashley Yoder's, Miranda Granger. Rise McKee's back. He's the one that lost to Chimaev.
Yeah.
In his UFC debut. I actually think he's an underdog in this, but this kid's got some talent. I think he's one of my underdog picks in this fight.
Luis Smolka is back. Rhonda Marcos is back. This one's fun.
This is a good one. Brendan Allen's on this card too, against Sean Strickland.
Oh, did that get moved just back a week?
Yep, they moved it.
Brian Barabina's back. But let's be honest, nobody's gonna be watching that card.
They got that Chaos Williams and Abdullah Al Hassan. I watched a little bit of those guys already, and that should be an impressive fight.
Nobody's watching that card. Everybody's going to be watching the Fierce card.
True. Very true. They're going to be watching your fight, Zach. I know I am. How's things going? How's training going? This is probably going to be our last podcast before your fight, because we need
to do one more tomorrow.
What do we got tomorrow?
I got to lock it down.
Oh, okay.
But our boy Cole Faust, we got to get him on.
Oh yeah, we do got to get him on.
So, yeah, so everybody's been freaking out because the governor came out and said, we're under this 2-week mask mandate. I just want to be clear on some things.
Which we were already where everybody was wearing masks anyways. I don't know what the big hoopla is.
Let me just clarify on some things here. One, everybody should be wearing their mask out in public anyways. And it's pretty much required everywhere. And it's going to be at the Maverick Center.
Yeah.
2, everybody should be practicing social distancing. Everybody's pretty much doing it anyways out in public. And it's going to happen at the Maverick Center. It's the reason why this ticket sales and everything are set up the way that they are, to enforce and ensure social distancing while people are there enjoying some fights. 3, listen to what Governor Herbert said. The biggest problem right now is that teenagers, mainly high school kids, are going to school and then after school interacting as normal. House hopping, getting together in large groups, bouncing around. That's what's causing the problem here. It is not the adults who are going to work pretty much social distanced and whatnot, wearing masks in a lot of places, and then coming home and staying home, or as adults that we go out to socialize. Where do we go socialize, Jason? Restaurants, gyms, bars, all the places that have protocols in place for COVID-19.
Yeah.
They're just trying to eliminate the social gatherings, because those social gatherings and barbecues, people's backyards, home gatherings, things like that. There's no protocols being followed there. Nobody's wearing a mask. Nobody's social distancing. Nobody's doing any of those things. The Maverick Center is a sporting event. We've already been told high school championship games aren't being canceled. College football is not being canceled. Collegiate sports aren't being canceled. And pro sporting events aren't being canceled. Ladies and gentlemen, MMA, this Fierce card, it is a pro event. Until I hear otherwise, I am planning on fighting.
I want to add on to that whether you agree with what the governor said or not, and I know there's a lot of people expressing their anger and you can't tell me what to do, just wear the damn mask. Like, we want to be able to continue having these fights, and if we want to be able to keep doing the things that we're able to do and going out, then swallow your damn pride and put the mask on. And I'll be the first to admit, I don't really want to wear a mask. But if that means I can go to the fights and enjoy a good night of fights and I just have to wear a mask, then I'm going to wear a mask. So, show a little respect, show a little dignity, put the damn mask on, go enjoy a good night of fights so that we're able to have fights again come January.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing. If we can behave. Oh, and all they added is, instead of the fighters being tested, now the corners and stuff are probably going to have to be tested too, which is fine. But I don't mean to. It's going to be on whether fights can continue to happen in this state are largely going to depend on if the fans can follow the rules and the protocols that are being put in place for everybody's safety. I really don't care if you believe in it or not, if you approve of masks, if not, if you do this, if not, whatever. It's simple. You just follow the rules, and then we get it. That's part of everybody. This is what I say. We have to start figuring out how to live with this. Well, that's part of starting that process of living with this. Let's live with it.
Yeah. if you're required to, I mean, it's not saying you have to walk down the street and wear a mask, but if you're going into a business, put the mask on. I don't like it either. I don't necessarily agree with it either. But I'm man enough to swallow my pride and put my mask on because I need to go shopping. I want to watch fights. I want to go to the gym. There's just things that I want to continue to do. And if that's what I have to do, that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Yes, so we went over the card. We probably already talked about this, but what fight besides your fight on this card are you looking for the most on this weekend coming up?
Well, I'm going to be biased, obviously. Cole Faust.
Yes.
I don't even get to watch it, but me and Cole, we pretty much, we were supposed to be on the February card together, and his opponent dropped out.
Yeah.
We've been working very hard together now since basically December, January.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for his opportunity to get back in there. His first opportunity to belt. I think he smashes the kid in the first round by whatever way he chooses. Cole's the best. He's such a good kid, and he's so humble, and he deserves all the success that he gets because he works for it and he's earned it. As far on the pro card, I actually think the thing that I'm most excited for is Cavender and Jerome Hatch.
That one's going to be
with all the fire, with all the talk that Hatch and we love Big Zach, and then we got and then Hatch and how fun he is and how big of a character he is.
Yeah,
there's just no way that's a boring fight, and
no, and go back and listen to both those guys' podcasts with us. And
I'm a giant fan of Mitch Ramirez, so I think that would be, that's going to be, I don't know much about the guy he's fighting other than he's tough. So, Mitch Ramirez, Trevor Bradshaw was probably my answer a month ago, but, now unfortunate situation for Trevor with him not being able to be on the card. I think it might be that. Bobby King, Steve Seiler.
I'm excited.
That's as good of a fight as we've ever had in Utah. So
it really is. I'm excited for the Jason South fight.
I think, that's supposed to be a crazy good fight.
And I've had the opportunity to go over there and train with him a little bit, and I'm impressed. I'll just say I'm impressed, and that should be a good fight, because from what I hear, his opponent, who we were going to try to get on the podcast, we've just been kind of not been able to schedule it yet, who's a great guy too. They've actually been kind of messaging back and forth to each other. So I think it's pretty cool.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's all going to be cool. And I'm super excited for it. And I'm excited for the whole process.
Sounds like you'll have your hoodies and shirts ready today.
Tomorrow. Well, they'll be ready today. I'm going to go pick them up tomorrow. And so everybody that ordered those, we're going to go get those. And
good. You can drive mine back down to my house, and you can pick up your Team Alpha Male rash guard.
Done.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, we'll get Cole on tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah. Ryan, if you're listening, let's do it. Let's get him on.
I'll go see Cole right now at the gym.
Roger that. All right, man. Have a good training day, and we out of here.
See ya.